Welcome to The Builder Seat, a Roebbelen Contracting Incorporated podcast, shining a light on the people of Roebbelen, our partners, our exceptional projects, our culture, and core values we uphold every day. Enjoy the show.
All right, welcome everybody to The Builder Seat, a Roebbelen Company podcast where we like to share with our Roebbelen employees and this industry more about Roebbelen culture and our industry outlooks. Today, we have Joe DeBiasio, Roebbelen CFO, on the show. Joe, it's awesome to have you.
I'm excited to be here and appreciate being invited, being part of the podcast club. I've been listening to a lot of podcasts lately, so I'm getting an idea for the format, the medium, and hopefully I can perform today.
No, I think you're going to be fine. This is off the cuff. There's no performance necessary. And Joe made a good point there. To anybody that's listening, please catch up on our past episodes. We are a year in now and available anywhere you can catch a streaming show. So it's great to be able to sit and talk with Joe. A little background for the listeners is Joe and I work together very closely. And so this is one of those chances where I get to kind of grill Joe a little bit more. I've had the pleasure of getting to know him and his family. And so I think that's going to be a really great conversation about how the Roebbelen family kind of comes together.
Yeah, I think the Roebbelen family is pretty much the what makes this place amazing, and I think it extends beyond these four walls or a job site. Mm-hmm. Our own families we retreat to every day after a hard day's work are also part of this family. Their needs are cared for as well.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I figure we've got a couple of topics we wanted to talk about, and being that we're already on family, and I feel family first that's the motto, and I know that's the motto from Joe, and so let's make that our first topic. Let's talk a little bit about family first and company culture.
Yeah, no, to me, I love our core values, but family first sits at top of the company's core values, but for me, it's what resonates the most. My family is very important to me, and I think when you put in the time and energy that we do to a job that we love, our family sometimes can take a back seat, but at Roebbelen, it's a priority for the company and the individuals to make sure that they can enjoy what matters most in life, and it's the people around us, including our family. So we have a very demanding job, and I love it, and we all do, but I also feel good when I get to go back home and know that my family time is my family time, and we all respect that of each other, and my family feels it too. Yeah. They've never seen me happier in a role, and it's not because the job's easier. Yeah. Because it's not. It's because of the people I get to work with each day. So,
wow, it's really awesome to hear. And one of the words you put in there is that there's that respect for family time, that mutual respect that all of us here at Roebbelen kind of give each other. I want to say I'm thankful to say that I haven't called Joe in the middle of the night like, oh, we've got something to handle, and vice versa. If there is something, we know that fires get dealt with if they have to, but no one's going out of their way to make a meeting set at 4:30 in the afternoon or call each other at 6 p.m. to say, hey, can you handle one last thing? Because that is family time.
100%. And this week's a perfect example of what that means. My wife had to assist her family up in Chico for a week, and I had to basically run the household front to back, and the DeBiasio household is pretty intense. We do a lot of things. We're very excitable people. I knew my wife did a lot, but boy, just to try to, there's not enough hours in the day to run that show. Yeah. But this week I had to do that. And if I had a job that didn't allow me to do that, it would have been that much more stressful. But it's as simple as going into Ken's office and saying, here's my situation, and no problem. No questions asked. Do what you got to do because family comes first, and the work will be here. And in that environment, you tend to keep up on your work commitments as well, because that mutual respect goes both ways. It says I have a company that cares for my personal needs, and in turn, I'm going to make sure I care for the company's needs. And whether that's putting the kids down and flipping open the laptop, that's what you do, because it's you have a company that also cares for you. So it makes it it's not a bitter thing to work in different hours because of your personal situation
Right.
may get in the way of a normal work week like this week did for me. So.
Well, and it builds on the other values also. I mean, being an ideal team player is the reason you get granted the flexibility and why it goes both ways. You have passion for the work, and so passion for the work means it's not pulling you aside to have to pull something up, when the kids are down. It's more like, oh yeah, I'm just going to knock this one out because this is my brand, and so I'm going to do this because I have pride and passion for what I do.
Absolutely. And like I said, I value all our core values. Family first is the first one that just gets me going every day. But the ideal team player, honestly, I think is the nucleus of what this company is all about as well. So if you can take care of your family, sure, that's like a given. But then when you come in these four walls or in a fenced area on a job site or within the walls of an existing building, being an ideal team player is what we're about. But at the end of the day, it's about who's in the foxhole with you. I've worked for several companies in my career. I've seen the good, the bad, the ugly, but the stresses here are no different than anywhere else. But they just don't feel stressful.
Yeah.
They don't, when you're working with people, rowing in the same direction, willing, you have a baseline level of trust, knowing that I have your back and you have mine.
Yeah.
I got a 50-minute commute in every day, and that's 50 minutes for me to dread coming into work.
Right.
I've been here or turn around.
Yeah.
I've been here for a year and 8 months now, and there's not one day that I'm coming into work that my perspective isn't, I can't wait to get to work because
That's awesome.
These are the 3 or 4 things I want to tackle today.
Yeah.
And I just know that the environment is going to be positive and encouraging because we literally have the best people in the industry.
Bar none.
Bar none. I mean, that's the Roebbelen way.
Yeah. Not only is this, us talking about Roebbelen, but this is setting that standard for the industry. It's a call to the industry, a call to everybody to want this of their employers, and want this for their employees. I guess both groups need to be addressed here. In the current environment, I feel where there's a lot of conversation amongst just those who work for a company, the ones who feel like they work for a company. I think that's the narrative I would even want to change. It's a sentence I don't even like saying out loud. It makes me kind of wince to say that like you work for a company, because you shouldn't work for a company. You should work with a team. And the idea, Joe, that you kind of gave me is I was thinking about the term here, and I didn't see the word anywhere on our wall, actually, which is great. I didn't see the word coworker, because it shouldn't be coworker. What we do here is we elevate from coworker through colleague to teammate. I mean, that teammate is where you need to be, right? If you're working with a group of people rowing in the same direction, as you said, getting that common goal achieved, coming out strong on top, that's what you do with teammates. That's not what you do with coworkers. And that's what differentiates the life here at Roebbelen, the way that we put our company family first and our personal family first. We have teammates that we drive forward with.
You say you cringe when you hear someone say, I work for a company, with preferences to work with a team. I cringe when someone says I'm the boss.
Yeah.
In my part, and because I don't see myself that way. We're not very hierarchical.
Mm-hmm.
Sure, decisions need to be made, and sure, there are some people that have to make big decisions. Everyone in this company just sees themselves as a team member, me included. I just want to contribute to the team. I want to contribute to the company's success, and my motto is we move forward every day, whether it's an inch or a foot, whatever we can gain in that day. Sometimes you take a step back, and that's okay. You're not going to, perfection is the enemy of progress in my mind. So we move the ball forward every day as a team, and we create an environment for everyone to participate, and we create an environment where I think I spoke to you about this yesterday too. This is something that weighs on me, and it's kind of being, a little bit of self-reflection too, is that I ask a ton of questions and I say a lot of things and I have opinions, and that's great so long as you have the humility to understand that we might not land on where your head is at right now, and that's okay. And then it's up to all of us to create an environment where everyone can participate in that conversation and feel heard and understand that there is no boss.
Mm-hmm.
There's just another team member trying to achieve the results that we're looking to get. And I love the fact that we don't have an org chart. We have an accountability chart.
Yeah.
And that goes for everyone in this company, me included. What am I accountable for? What are you accountable for? You hold me accountable to what I'm accountable for, and I'll do the same to you.
Right.
And we'll do it positively.
Yeah.
And profitably as well.
Right.
I think that's important. We are
Name of
talking
the
about
game.
business here too.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
it's been great with our new Pinnacle process. It's starting to trickle down the company, and I talk about rowing in the right direction. We're rowing in the same direction. We're rowing in the right direction. We have the right people in the right spots.
Yeah. No, I definitely feel the same. I think that there's been a lot more integration of company goals and that mutual understanding of those goals, the team's respect towards each other's goals and accountability. I'm glad you brought up accountability chart. I don't think that I look at anybody here as above or below, because everybody has their job to do. Everybody is that, part of the system. And we support each other, and we support each other with handoffs to each other, not hand downs and hand ups. That, again, that's just not how we work, right? Because that is a big change. That's been a big change for Roebbelen over the last couple of years. Since you've got here, many changes have occurred. So, within the last 2 years, we've transformed quite a few things, I think, and the language has started to pick up amongst everybody, which I think is great, because I feel everybody is on board, or at least I think everyone should know the support of the executive team, the senior leadership team, literally, the operations team, all the support roles that are within the company, finance, technology. Everybody supports this common vision. I think we've gotten to that point where we really do support this common vision. Not to say we didn't earlier, but the alignment is just magnetic right now. So that's fantastic. And that's a lot of change. And so dealing with a lot of change, I know, is something that, you and I have worked together on quite a bit. You are in the thick of it with some projects that we, may or may not talk entirely about, but I think the concept of dealing with change is something that you are managing quite a bit.
Absolutely. If anyone knows me or has worked with me in a professional capacity in the past, change is inevitable with me, because I operate from a perspective of moving the needle forward, for one, but challenging the status quo.
Mm-hmm.
One of the eye-opening things to me when I came into the construction industry from manufacturing is maybe where this industry might be lagging, talking about technology, both in the field, from my perspective, on the back end support and what we can do. So yeah, we are working on a lot of initiatives related to our digital transformation. That is going to affect change, but I always refer to, change management is a key term.
Yeah.
I call it
the business term.
Yeah, it is. I call it comfort management, because we all, and me included, we all get comfortable with what we do every day and how we do that every day.
Mm-hmm.
And we don't want to change just for change's sake, right? But, when we're trying to achieve all of our corporate goals and strategic initiatives, it's going to require us to take a deep look inside and understand that we are doing what's best for Roebbelen. And this is where being an ideal team player comes in, is that you have to kind of put your personal perspective aside, because you know what? It's going to be some short-term pain, learning new systems, learning new ways of doing things.
Mm-hmm.
But the true sign of a mature company is that standardization amongst your systems, your processes. We serve a very diverse portfolio of clients. We have multiple market segments that have all different needs with all different demands from different customers. Mm-hmm. And we're doing our best to be able to create a system, whether it's a process, a procedure, a form, a technology. These are all just tools, right? Mm-hmm. To support that diversity, because the handoff is the most important part. How you get to where you hand it off in any kind of process or system or whatever the case may be, there's some flexibility there. But for the person that's receiving it on the other end, there's got to be some standardization there. And I think we're getting a lot close to that. And I've had some amazing conversations. I've seen people that have been here for a long time that have done it a particular way, open themselves up and be a little bit vulnerable and and communicating, hey, this is a change. This is going to be tough. But hey, guess what? I'm on board. Yeah. And you got to get that buy-in. And we're not going to get it perfect.
Mm-hmm.
And so you got to have some patience and understanding. You got to have a ton of empathy for the people. But the one thing I always fall back to is, if you truly believe it's what's best for Roebbelen and the company, you got to keep that in the foresight, because that is the eye on the prize mentality, that growth mindset, the thing that gets us up every day to wear Roebbelen blue, right? And it's uncomfortable.
Sure.
But the hope is that pain will be relieved,
Mm-hmm.
and we'll see some benefit from the new tools we're bringing to the table. And then, provide that feedback loop to fine tune those tools to really meet the needs of this organization. And I think that's a big part of what my responsibility here is, to make sure as this company grows, the work is out there. Our get work side of the house is best in the business. Our operations team is best in the business. And I sure as heck like to believe that the support in the back end of this company that supports all of that is the best in the business.
Yeah.
And it's our job to make sure that as we grow this company, we make sure that we're the most efficient we possibly can. We make people's lives easier. We got to be scalable. We're a 64-year-old startup,
Yeah.
I feel like, every day. And that's my perspective on change. It's inevitable. I'm going to drive it forward. I'm going to try to do it with the biggest smile on my face. We're going to try to make as many people happy as we can. But just understand that it's going to be a little bit uncomfortable. So having some grace, some patience, and understanding, front to back, is so important.
Yeah, that's a really important perspective from Roebbelen's internal structure, is that we do need to support each other in this vision, have that empathy for each other in this change. And so, that's definitely speaking to different groups there where, you may be working with somebody who's still getting adapted to a new tool that they're using, whether it's a physical tool or a procedural tool. It may not be the easiest thing for somebody to pick up, but it's all of ours responsibility for all of us to be just as proficient, right? There's efficiency to be gained and all this other kind of stuff, but individually proficient at utilizing things is really important. And I know that we're focused on that so that everybody can get to the same comfort level with the tools, the procedure, the method, and the mindset ultimately of what it is we're trying to change, And again, yes, for the betterment of Roebbelen, but I want to point something out that we don't say maybe often enough is, to do this better for Roebbelen is also to do this better for the industry because of the number of partners that we work with, right? Our clients deserve the highest quality product. That's why we're in this business. We're not here because we want to build mediocre things. We build amazing things. And if we're going to do that, then our handoff to the client, like you said, the handoff is so important. Our handoff to the client, it should be immaculate. Well, what supports that? And what supports that is our, nonstop drive to that high quality. And so, yes, change is going to be, required, not just of ourselves, but our support of our partners, and support to our partners, So if we are working with trade partners, there's a reason why we pick specific trade partners to work with. We know that if we show them some change, they're not going to falter. They're going to be able to step up to the plate and go, yeah, we got this, right? But if we have a trade partner that we start working with that, doesn't want to use a certain tool or doesn't want to learn a new procedure or hand off a product a certain way, or I'm, talking to the CFO here, so doesn't want to talk to accounting, well, that's not going to fly. We need partners that are going to step up to the plate and make it through this change. And yes, change is hard. And yes, change is inevitable. And I'll pick the tail end of that quote from Joel is, change is inevitable, growth is optional. You have to choose that growth, right? And that's what we're doing. We're choosing that growth.
100%. And I think that's a great perspective to put it in. There's a reason why we call them trade partners.
Yeah.
Because we can't do what we do without them.
Mm-hmm.
To that point is everything we're doing, even as it relates to the digital transformation. I mean, why are we doing this, right? At the end of the day, we're doing it for our clients and our customers.
Mm-hmm.
If I can implement technology that can basically go through our data and use, whether it's AI, predictive analytics, whatever the case may be, to proactively identify indicators that something could potentially in the future go sideways that could negatively impact our client, I'm going to sure as heck do that.
Mm-hmm.
For instance, if we can use data to quickly identify where's that one employee who is burning the candle at both ends and has been for a few days right now, you know what, that's a lot of work.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe that person needs a break. I mean, that could be an indicator of a safety incident.
Mm-hmm.
And obviously safety is everything in this company for us. So I just wanted to make that comment about having everything we do with the client in mind, our partners in mind, our trade partners, our employees in mind, and obviously our own internal strategic initiatives and objectives, what we're trying to do with this company. And we're not trying to do anything simple. We're just trying to be the best delivery partner known to mankind.
Yeah.
So, I mean, it sounds like an insurmountable task, but with the team we have here, it's achievable.
And with the team we have here and the team that follows our core values, that lives up to that brand, absolutely. That means we all have the same ethical background and internal passion to be able to want to do this.
Yes. The ethical background, that's an interesting concept. Everyone here does the right thing. It goes back to being an extreme ambassador for the company.
Mm-hmm.
We always encourage, actually, quite frankly, it's a requirement to always do the right thing, particularly when nobody's looking.
Mm-hmm.
Yesterday, I pulled into a Target parking lot. I apologize. My accent really came out there. The Target parking lot. That's where I park my car. I'll try to speak a little bit more.
No, I like it.
Yeah. The Target parking lot. And I want to get home, right? So I don't give them enough time for lunch. I go in, I grab something, I come back, I eat at my desk because I want to get my work done because I want to go see my family. But there was a moment I saw a lady sitting in the parking lot with the hood up, looking like she was on her lunch break, and the car wasn't starting.
Mm-hmm.
I could have easily just walked into the place and ignored them, but I thought about some of the other examples of this company where other employees were being extreme ambassadors when they wore that Roebbelen logo out there, and it just dawned in my head, it's like, you got to live and breathe your culture. You got to believe in it. So I went over and offered assistance to that lady. She didn't need it from me. AAA had just shown up. But in my mind, I was thinking, I could just rush back and get my lunch, or I can actually help this lady have a little bit of a better day. I had my Roebbelen logo on. So that's what made it seem like, to me, it's just a reminder of that's what we need to do. Whether it's in our community, whether it's within the four walls of this office, on a job site, you just got to be the best ambassador for Roebbelen always, especially when no one's looking.
Yeah. Yeah. And, I think logo or not, I know you would have done that anyway. And I think that's the
Unless they were wearing a Yankees hat.
All right. Note to everybody, don't get stuck on the side of the road with a Yankees hat on. Joe will drive by you. But I think that's kind of the makeup of the people here is logo or no logo. We would do that. We would have that personal drive, that passion, that pride to help, in a situation where it was needed, to do the right thing, like you said, when no one's looking. And that's the makeup of somebody who can wear Roebbelen blue. And hey, at the end of the day, I think that's the makeup of anybody that should be in this industry, and for that matter, walks among us. That's just be good people, right? And so
absolutely,
be good people is a big thing we talk about.
Absolutely. And I think those types of things are non-negotiable in this company. We don't just let anyone on this side of the fence, and it's for a reason. It's how it's how we keep this great thing going, is that we find the best people. We don't settle on people. We find the best people. They want to work for us. It's an interesting concept in my mind, is that this is not an easy environment. We're not doing easy stuff. Roebbelen is not sure, we have good times because we have good people, but we attract the best because we're going to give them an environment to thrive in, to grow in, and it'll be challenging. It's not, people don't come to us because we're fun. That's just a byproduct. We are fun, but that's not what gears us up every day.
Yeah.
We are here because we like a challenge. We like to move the needle forward, and we're not perfect, and that's okay.
We know where we can grow.
And it's what I try to tell everyone I'm working with too. Like, sometimes it seems to be we have to have that perfect answer, because we've almost been raised on fear, like even from childhood, right?
Right. The correct answer, or a red mark on the paper.
Yeah, exactly. Don't go in the street. You'll get hit by a car. Okay, that's a valid point. But it conditions us, right? And so when it comes to change, when it comes to initiatives, when it comes to doing something different and challenging the status quo, part of that has to be it's okay to fail too. Fail quick, fail cheap.
Right.
Learn from it. If you're not failing, you're not succeeding.
Right.
And I've gotten comfortable with failure as I've grown through my career, because as a by trade CPA accountant, it's perfection, you know? I mean, I get the benefit of looking at forecasts and estimates where our controller 2 decimal places, right?
Yeah, yeah.
But we can't be so concerned about failing where we're not willing to try. And so I think that's just I've gotten comfortable with failing in life, and learning how to do it well and build upon that.
Sure.
And never be scared to grab a hold of an opportunity or to move something because it's going to be uncomfortable or hard.
Yeah.
I actually love that.
That's good.
It's almost to a flaw. I love looking for the difficult things and having the difficult conversations, because honestly, the ideas they don't reside with me. I mean, they reside with everyone else in this company. There are way smarter people in this company, top to bottom, and collectively we're a pretty amazing bunch, and we can come up with pretty much, I think, some of the best solutions and solve any problem presented to us.
That's right. Well, it's teamwork that does it. Absolutely, right? Working with everybody. One of the items I was going to pick on before we wrap this up, an item that we had on the list, and we kind of talked a little bit about digital transformation in a past episode, and something that I think we're going to start doing a little bit more is industry outlook of some kind. And I think an industry outlook on digital transformation from you in a soundbite would be great. You know, what are you seeing? The industry is looking. They're watching, Joe. What is the digital transformation outlook from your perspective? You know, maybe finance in mind or something. What are you excited about maybe that you see in the next 3 to 5 years?
Wow. Well, it was clear that we needed an upgrade in our systems when I first came on board. We're operating off a legacy ERP, and that's kind of the nucleus of a lot of things. We were bringing on newer technology, but we're still have this core of legacy system.
Like many in the industry who've been around for a while.
Absolutely. Yeah. Like almost everyone in
like
the industry
exactly.
that I've been talking to. And we went through a new selection process to identify a new ERP, and boy, did I take a lot of time, because I came in with this perspective, and I think I was just, because I was new to the industry, that only these legacy products or these, I don't want to give out names here, but these traditional construction solution softwares was the only thing you could possibly use, because construction's so unique. And I kind of fell into that trap a little bit and be like, okay, this is clearly something I have to learn on, because you don't know what you don't know. And I mean, these people have been in the industry for 25 years. They got to know something, and they know a ton. Yeah. But I came from environments where my software was doing things 7 years ago that I was working with within manufacturing that the current product selection for construction software does not allow. So
not in the roadmap.
It's not on the roadmap, right? And so going through the selection process, and what we ended up selecting is for a general contractor of our size. If you go ask people in the industry, and I kind of wear it as a badge of honor, they're kind of looking at us like, wait a second, you didn't go with a typical construction product, you're going with this newer product. What are you, crazy? And I'm like, kind of. Because the potential here is we're going beyond an accounting system. We're, data is the new oil. Yeah. The company that can refine it, they can, or I guess mine it first, refine it, and use it to essentially, what I like to say, our client's advantage, right? Building the best product, and delivering the best product that they envisioned, and meeting that successfully. I guess my message to the industry would be, we're lagging as an industry. And I'm sure there are people out there that are maybe ahead of us. I think we're about to leapfrog ahead of the industry in terms of what data can do, what good systems look at. And there's so much data in this company. And how do we bring all that data together? How do we use it to our benefit? That is my perspective. So to wrap that up, and I apologize, kind of going off on a little bit of a tangent here. It took me a while to get out of the trap I fell into. Is like, clearly I don't know that construction's unique. But then I started thinking, it's like, well, they're not the only industry with union labor. They're not the only industry with job costing. Sure, there's some conditional liens and releases and stuff that has some, but I mean, that's just paper. Then I really became to believe otherwise, that we can do way more than what's currently being offered in this space. And I know there's a lot of good software companies that are coming out and getting there, but the traditional ones, in my mind, are lagging. They're going to have a hard time catching up with some of the new players in the space just because of tech debt and developed on old platforms and where they are in their R&D and what's on their roadmap.
Yeah.
And I'm excited to say that we're moving forward with a product that is light years ahead of what traditionally have been out there. And so we don't even know what's possible yet. So this company, we're going to take this software to a whole nother level. This software is going to take this company to a whole nother level. And it's not just one software, we have.
No, it's a group. Yeah, it's a bunch of things.
It is. And how do we integrate that software is pretty much, we probably get a little bit too techie right now. But it's like, we have a lot of disparate systems. How do you easily bring that data together? How do you have a single source of truth? And then I think the most important thing is how do you democratize that data? The way we're set up right now, the clearinghouse of information goes through a handful of people in this company. Well, that's not good because by then it's a day late and $1 short. You need people to have access to that data in real time. It needs to be accurate data. And remember, the system is just the tool. I know, Hitesh, you preach this to me all day long. The system is just the tool. As we're implementing these new technologies, we're really looking, the opportunity is to look at how you do business. And if you just try to, shove the square peg in the round hole, you're going to just get more of the same. And right now we are challenging all our core processes to make sure we're doing it the best way for our customers, our trade partners, our employees, and ultimately Roebbelen. So
yeah. No, that's great. It's a great outlook and a great point to be made is the industry has a lot of catching up to do, even though for a decade we've been talking about digital transformation as an industry. I'm thinking back, going to some of the conferences of, the big 5 construction software companies that are out there that are not just construction software. Some of the ones that I'm thinking about do 3D design, and I think everybody knows who I'm thinking of. They work for every industry, and their tools are used across industries. And what I found funny is going to their, events and taking a look at their product. They offer more in other industries than they do in construction because they know that in construction, the mindset is I'm just doing analog paper to digital paper. And that mindset shift is still in the works. I mean, it's been a decade of it, but we still transfer questions from one party to another essentially the same way. We still ask for cost changes the exact same way, but it's digital typed versus handwritten paper. It's shuttled over via e-signature versus in a manila envelope. But changing that procedure, picking a tool that literally is, it provides us with a procedure and a method and a process we wouldn't have otherwise thought about. That's what differentiates those who are willing to take that challenge and that risk a little bit, but develop it into an efficient workflow because, and I want to wrangle this all the way back to, because of the respect for our people and their time here and their time at home. Why would we make a system faster in the office? Just making it faster in the office is great, but what does that do for our people? It removes the obstacles. It removes gear grinding and pain. It may increase accuracy, remove the headaches of, I got to knock that thing out. And instead it's, I've knocked it out. I can go home, right? I mean, that's ultimately it. Like, we really do want people to feel this balance, and with how fast everything else is changing, increasing our efficiency at the end of the day is just, I think, just coming up to making life easy for everybody again.
Absolutely. And, some of the terms like efficiency, they tend to be, I would say, overused maybe. And so I've started saying operational velocity.
I like it.
From a physics perspective, it's speed with a direction.
That's right.
I'm not a physics major, and someone taught me that
along
the way. So, but operational velocity, the good old OV, is what we're talking about. It's speed with a direction, because I don't want to do something we shouldn't be doing faster. I want to do something we need to do the most efficient and effective way possible. A 64-year-old company, you're going to have your ways.
Yeah.
We have such a good company that we have people that have been here for a long, long time. And I don't blame them for being in their ways because it's worked. So now here we are making big changes. And we just got to make sure we do it right. But just know it won't be perfect.
Yeah.
But we will fine-tune the machine every day, just like you have to do on it. There's a reason why I'm not a project manager either. Boy, I don't deal with, I'm okay in
Yeah.
uncertainty.
Yeah.
But what a project manager has to deal with every day on a job site, whether it's weather, whether it's a trade partner not meeting their, this thing is not coming together the way it should. They have to solve problems in real time every day. I'd like to think I would thrive in that environment. I like just a touch more certainty and a little more control.
Yeah.
Hence the profession I chose.
Yeah.
So anyways, I just wanted to just a general comment on what we're trying to do from a digital transformation perspective. And it could be, it's anything and everything. It's the little things like electronic payments to our trade partners, to big things like data analytics. Now's the time. Anyone else in the industry that thinks that they can do it the same way they've been doing it for the last 3 decades, I think as a year or two go past, you're going to realize just how far behind you are. I don't know if I'm going to be willing to share my playbook.
No, well,
Let me rephrase that, our playbook.
That's right. And your point stands. The industry's velocity is accelerating in a direction. And so everybody's got to be willing to at least accelerate that way. And we will support our trade partners in doing so. That's a big one.
Absolutely. Like I said, the reason why we call them partners. We can't do it without them.
Yep. No, thank you, Joe. This is an awesome conversation. I think for everybody that's listening again, this is, I think, and always will be on the builder seat, a call to action for the industry. Let's set a bar that other industries, that other groups look to construction and go, man, they are flying up that hill, rather than, nope, still digging in the dirt. So there's that. We wrap up this show with a segment called What's on Your Heart. It's what's on your mind, but really, we want to know deep down inside, Joe, tell us, what's on your heart about this industry. What would you like to share with us to leave us with some words of wisdom?
What's on my heart? Sometimes I feel I've been a couple years in this industry and I'm still feel like a newcomer, right? And I still feel like I have to go out and prove myself every day. But man, this industry is pretty amazing. I'm happy to be part of it. It's different than what I've experienced before. I always say this. Accountants don't like group work in college. But I tell you what, those construction management guys, they were like, let's go. Let's round up the team. We're going to go ahead and, so all the things that an operation team is good at is something I have to try really hard to be good at where they're good at naturally. But I can tell you, I'm so glad I'm in this industry because the creativity, the ability to problem solve, the willingness to try things differently, the camaraderie amongst our brothers and sisters and team members, it's pretty amazing. There's a lot of pride in this industry. Coming from manufacturing, it's like I got patents protecting my product. I don't have that much pride. I love my product, but I tell you what, that 20-year patent really helps. But here, it's anyone theoretically can build a building, but can you build it like us?
Yeah.
But this industry is pretty amazing. I think there's a lot of people sharing ideas and helping one another. We have to differentiate ourselves, so we got to be a little bit guarded in some ways of respect. But what a cool industry to be in. What a cool time to be in the industry.
Yeah, I think so.
Which I think is amazing, given just like you said earlier, the advancement of what's to come. The work's out there. It's fun to drive down a road and say, the company I work for built that. And then, I have to correct my son when he says, my dad built that.
Yeah.
Like, my dad.
No, you said my team built that.
Yeah. Well, yeah, our team built that. I watched from afar. Other people did all the real hard work. But, man, what a sense of pride. The schools that my kids are going to, Roebbelen built that.
That's awesome.
And we're going to build a lot more that the community is going to benefit from in the future. And I'm just so excited to be in this industry. And I truly believe this is my forever home at Roebbelen. And I believe this industry is going to challenge me and excite me for decades to come. And I'm just happy to be part of it.
We're happy to have you, Joe.
All right. Thank you.
Glad you're here. Thanks for being on the builder seat. Thank you again to all our listeners who tune in to catch our show. Like I said, you can find us on all streaming platforms. And on top of that, we invite you to message us here at Roebbelen. You can find our info on Roebbelen.com's website. Send in your ideas, questions, thoughts, feedback, anything. We really want this, like I said, to be a call to the whole industry to raise the bar on the things that we do. And if you hear something that resonates, tell us. And otherwise, I want to hear it all. So anyways, find us when you can. Everybody take care.
Today's episode is produced and edited by Roebbelen's digital media specialist, Aaron Zaragoza. Hosted by Director of Strategic Operations, Hitesh Dewan. Original music by Superintendent of Concrete, Rich Collenberg. With music production by J.K. Northrup. Thank you for listening to The Builder's Seat.